My name's Mike Walker. I'm a project superintendent for school construction.
What is the process that you and the architects go through in the beginning?
Well, actually in the beginning there's a bidding process. The architectural firm will have plans, drawings, specifications, and it'll be submitted to general contractors for usually a competitive bid. And when the bid takes place, the low bidder, of course, ends up with the project unless it's somebody they really don't want to have do the project. From that point on, it all starts a paperwork trail where they'll send submittals to my office, which will come to me, and a submittal will be like for steel columns or wooden beams, and we have to field verify that what he wants will work the way he specifies it. In the end, it comes down to a check and balance system, more or less, where the architect has his design and we kind of check to make sure what he has will be applicable to the building itself. And most of the times it's pretty close. I mean, sometimes numbers get transposed wrong, and you know, it's just a game you play. And after I look at the submittals and I okay them, I'll take a red marker or red pen. If there are any changes, I'll write in red on that submittal what I changed. For instance, say he called a beam to be 19 feet 1 inch. Well, maybe the concrete was off a 1/4 inch or whatever. I'll change it to 19 foot 1/4 inch. At that point, the submittal goes back to the architect, who okays it or denies it. And usually it's a fairly simple process. I mean, if it's a field change, they usually just stamp a okay. Then the product can go into production. So then it goes to the steel manufacturer, who at that point reads what I've written and what the architect has put down and builds that steel beam or wood member or whatever it needs to be.
Oh, and what do you need from the architect to do your job well?
Fast turnaround on submittals and stuff. Some architectural firms like to sit on those things for like 2 weeks, and especially a job like this one that got done in 3.5 months, 2 weeks is a long time. And most firms are pretty good about it. I mean, they usually have a junior architect in the office that has to handle all that stuff, so they usually kick it out fairly quick.
What were some of the challenges you encountered at the dorm?
Mainly the weather and the time factor. I mean, just to kind of put it in perspective for you, say a $500,000 house. It's, you know, what, not even a third of the size of this building, will generally take 6 to 7 months to complete. Well, we did this whole building in 5 months, so the time was a real big thing. And then whenever it rained or snowed, especially during the concrete phase, it really kills you, because if it's 20 below, you can't pour concrete. It'll freeze in the trucks. And we were fairly fortunate we only lost a couple weeks here, but it just means we got to work faster.
What did you like most about this project?
Actually, working with the people up here was really fun. Everybody was really helpful and nice, and they all wanted it done, you know. And a lot of projects, there's always grumblers in town saying, I didn't vote for that, I didn't want that. And here, everybody wanted to get it done, so it was kind of fun, kind of a family atmosphere almost.
How many times were the plans changed?
I get 4 original sets of blueprints for the whole building. And finally, the 4th one was pretty much what we wanted. And a lot of it was the original design, was a completely different building, and they tried to incorporate some of the stuff into this one. And by the time the paper trail got caught up, we had most of the building done. I mean, it was already framed up and siding going on it.
Is there anything else you'd like to know?
We have things called RFIs, which is called as a request for information that we fill out and send to the architect. It's kind of like a submittal, only it's, say you designed this building and you called for a 4 foot by 8 foot vent over in that little chunk of wall over there. Well, it won't fit, obviously, because that wall is only 3 feet by 7 feet. So I would fill out an RFI form and say, what do you want me to fit here? Because it's more than just the vent size, because if the airflow for the whole air handling system might be figured off that much airflow through that vent. So that's where you guys get all the book learning on figuring out CFMs and how much flow you have to have for things to work.